while taking a breath, please try to do that without instrument. If you do that, that means something is not natural because of the instrument. Because you hold the shakuhachi, you change something in your natural way of breathing, and you shouldn't. So you do the same, you take a breath, and then you put your instrument. Please try this. So, posture. Take a breath, and then you put instrument. Last thing, at the last moment, just before blowing, maybe some of you may move too, like this. Take a breath, and at the moment you will blow, like this. So be careful of this too. And if this happens, you can do. You just start blowing before putting the instrument. So what I mean is just be careful to your sensation and take care of which moment you move something in your body before playing. And you should eliminate these movements. There are no function, there is no reason to do that. It's just not crispation, how to say that? Inverse of relaxing is
tension.
Tension, yes. It's just tension for nothing. So when you do that, I think you just you don't need to imagine I have to relax, I have to relax, I have to don't relax, right? My teachers often say that you have to relax, but I don't understand what it really means. What do I have to relax exactly? But if you start from your natural posture, once you have found it, and be careful of your sensation before blowing, and there is no reason that it doesn't work. Okay. Yes, next step, I would like to speak about how the shakuhachi works. I think it can be useful. I'm speaking about that because I would have liked that my teachers said me that when I was a teenager. And I discovered that by myself later, but I would have spared a lot of time if I knew that earlier. First thing, it's instinctively we might think that the sound of the flute is produced by the circulation of the air that we blow inside it. It's usually what we think. But in fact, it's produced by the vibration of the air that is already contained in the tube and that doesn't move. I will explain. So, of course, the vibration is made by the air jet and maintained by the air jet, but the sound itself is produced by the vibration of the air column already contained in the tube before you start playing. You know that any object has its own vibration frequency. Maybe you saw videos of singer breaking crystal glass just by singing, because it makes the vibration of the voice corresponds to the vibration of the object, and the object explodes. The good news is that instrument don't explode. Musical instruments don't explode, so you are not taking any risk. But the idea is the same: is to find the vibration of the instrument and to make it explode. And we will see that there are relationships. It's really like this. It works. It can be a glass, can be a bridge. Maybe you know that the soldiers break stride when they walk on the bridge, just to be sure to don't enter into resonance with the bridge, or it would collapse. So I show you some image. I don't know if you already seen the air blade. So on the left, it's organ pipe. It's a special product. I don't remember. It's from carbon dioxide used to be able to show the airstream. And I can show you what happens exactly. So you can imagine that these are your lips. There is an airflow going from your lips. And this is called the labium. So that's the talucci of the instrument, the black part of the instrument here. So you imagine your airstream going from your lips to the labium, and this is what happens. So you see, of course it's very slow. If you play a G, this happens 440 times per second. Okay, very, very quick, of course. But this, what happens here is just making a vibration. And this vibration, I will explain then what happens inside the instrument. You can see here same image but on a recorder. So here you have your airstream, and here you have the air that is already inside the bore of the instrument. And your vibration will make this pendulum movement inside the bore of the instrument. Maybe you have seen this, it's called Newton pendulum. It's not invented by Newton, but it's just a kind of homage to Newton. And so when you the air molecules in the pipes of a wind instrument are like a row of pendulums touching. So when the first one receives an impulse, it transmits to the next, and so it descends to the end of the line. When it reaches the last, it bounces back and sends in the opposite direction. Then the six begins again, as you can see here. So this is what happens inside your instrument when you blow. So that's very important. That is just a pendulum transmitting energy from one molecule to the other one, and then come back here. And when it comes back, it pushes your airflow out. And then, because you blow, you force the air to go inside and once again go to the instrument. But in reality, the idea is that there is not a movement of air from here to here. It's just vibrating inside. So for me, it's very important, and you will see why later. So this creates, I don't go too deep in the details of acoustic, it's just to help us to understand what happens. So this creates zones of strong movement with low pressure that you can see in blue here, and zones of immobility and with high pressure. So this shows a fundamental note of the instrument, like if there were only one note, but we will see that it's a bit more complex because the air column actually has several modes of operation, all present at the same times. So that means that when you play, for example, a row, maybe you know that in this row there is Otsu no ro, Kan no ro, Kan no chi, P, F sharp, etc. So there are several notes at the same moment. It's called partials or harmonics. And they are superimposed to compose the timbre, the color of your sound. So the choice so maybe I show you that, yes. So this is an example of what happens when you play row key, for example, row a bit like this. So these are the frequency. So every line is a note inside my note. So this is the row you listen, and then this one is this one. Then etc. You can see that when you play with colored tone, I mean by colored something a very rich tone without not dirty, very clear and strong and colored
Pure.
Yes, pure is different for me because pure in acoustics precisely means that there were no harmonics. So it's only one note, and this is, we'll see that it's almost impossible on the Shakuhachi to have an acoustically pure sound. But I mean that there is no, air inside. You really, what I said before, you are making exploding your instruments. So this kind of sound. So this is the spectrum, and you can see that the first harmonic is stronger than the fundamental. And we know that even, especially on Western flute, when I try to make this kind of sound, the fundamental disappears, and the ear is calculating that you are playing low D, but the low D in reality doesn't exist. It's very interesting. And I can show you another spectrum. So I tried here to make as less harmonics as possible. It's a bit. It's a sound like this, but we can see a bit of local too. So just to show you what happens inside of the bow of your instrument, and these are different kinds of tone colors we can do. So the most harmonics you have, this is an indication that there is the frequency, your airspeed corresponds to the frequency of the object, of the instrument. If your fundamental is beginning to disappear, that means you form the resonance of your instrument. But that doesn't mean it's a good sound. There is no notion of good sound, especially on Shakuhachi for me. It depends on what you are playing. But this idea of being able to find the resonance of the instrument is important because it can be the center of your sound, and then you can develop your colors starting from this point. So now it's time to speak about airspeed. are three ways, mainly, I think, to make the choice of the register. If I start, for example, from the low roll, you can change the fingering, change the distance between the lips and the labium, and change the air speed. And we will see the advantage and inconvenience of each technique. First thing you can test, it's very easy. Changing fingering from a row. It's like an octave key as you have on saxophones. You just open one finger and it changes register. You can try. It's the most easier way. Presentation here, I will always use one parameter. Try to change only one thing. So if you test this, don't change the way you blow. Just keep your air speed, your air pressure. Don't change anything and just try to open to see what happens. Just try this. You can try this on Re can, and with opening 4. That's all works. So the second way of changing register is very known especially by beginner who discover this very quickly, is doing that. So this change register, but it also changes pitch. So that's the problem. And beginners very quickly find this way because it's very easy to play. And there is, you never go in low register, there is not the problem of very comfortable, but you are not in tune. If you reduce the distance between your lips and the labium, you go to the upper register, but at the same time you are covering the hole here, and covering the hole is like covering a hole here. It's like changing fingering, so you are doing two things at the same time. So that's why you are going to upper register and change the pitch of your instrument. So I think this is not a good technique to change register. It just doesn't work. The last one, and the best one I think, is changing airspeed. Because as you have seen the airflow going inside the instrument, you have to find the resonance of your instrument. And there is one resonance for each fingering. I mean that if you change the fingering of your instrument, you change the object. So you change the resonance, the airspeed you have to put inside your instrument. So just think about that. The airspeed, the vibration, the airspeed will change the speed of the vibration here, and then will correspond or not to the vibration of the object you have. So if I play chi with not enough airspeed, or with too much airspeed, it changes the pitch, and they are both not in tune. And the sound is not nice. We can hear that the tone color is not good because the frequency here does not correspond to the frequency of the object. And the air part of the sound automatically disappears, and the spectrum will be very rich if you are in phase between your airspeed and the frequency of the instrument. So, if you want to reach the upper register, just think you increase your airspeed. So we can try maybe on a chi. So once more, you only change airspeed. You don't move at all, and you don't move fingers, of course. You don't use at all the other techniques. So please try. Sorry.
When you say change airspeed, you mean change the pressure inside?
I will explain
okay,
later.
I mean,
Just try airspeed for now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I will give you some ideas about that. You should be in tune, so that's quite interesting when you play in card register. So the question was how to change airspeed. Okay, so this is a very known equation. Just to show you, it won't be very useful for us because you will just show here you have the airspeed, and here you have the pressure inside your mouth, and you just can see that there is a relationship between your pressure inside the mouth and the airspeed. Of course, you all experience that. And this is the density of the air that we cannot change. You can try by inhaling helium. It will be funny, but it works, but you can do that conceptually. More interesting is this. This is an equation I first found on the industrial wind tunnel website. And then I found this in analysis of fluid control parameters. It's an article about acoustics of the flute. And you see that the airflow, so here is a Q. Q is airflow, air quantity, is the airspeed multiplied by the surface of the hole of your lips. So same thing in a tunnel. The debit is the speed of the air multiplied by the surface of the section of the tunnel. Is it clear? So you see here that I make a distinction between airflow, that is in meter per second, meter per second, the airspeed, that is in meter per second, and yes, and there is the surface of the hole. So the idea is you can have a lot of airflow without speed. If I do that, lots of airflow, I'm totally empty in 1 second, but no pressure, no airspeed. So, but I can do the opposite, a lot of airspeed with very few airflow. I can do that during 1 minute, not stop blowing, and there will be, you can have a sensation of the airspeed, but very low airflow. Okay, this is very important aspect. If you can make the distinction, and this is more the same equation, but I changed the order. But this is more interesting for us because the interesting parameter for us is airspeed. How to deal with airspeed, and so airspeed is function of the bit and the hole, diameter of the hole. So if you increase the airflow, of course you will increase the airspeed. Okay, do that. I use only airflow and change airspeed. I didn't change the diameter here. If I try to not to change airflow but only diameter of the hole, it should also work. If I increase this, if I diminish this, this should increase logically. So this works too. I didn't change my airflow, but I diminished the hole, and I can change register with this. What we do usually, if you don't want to change dynamic, we do both a little of this and a little of this. So airflow and lip hole. Yes.
Yeah. So going back to your analogy of the harmonics, I noticed when you were doing your row had a lot of vibration, and then you did another row that was very airy, and there was not a lot of vibration. And that's my problem with my row, is that it's I have problems with my row is not very powerful, and I don't have that vibrating. I have a more airy row, and I'm trying to figure out if maybe the analogy or when you showed how the air was flowing over the reed or the air in the organ, right? Maybe my angle is not right or something. I just wonder if you could make a comment on
Yes, I will speak about that just after that. Because the color of your sound is a function of the air direction and the air shape. So I think the first thing to check is the airspeed, and then when you found it, try to change maybe the angle or the shape of the sound. But if you think about airspeed, very often it's something I realized while practicing robuki, when I began practicing robuki, because in Todanmu usually we have other exercise, but we don't do so much robuki. But I listen other players doing that, and for me it's quite interesting. And I remember the first time I heard robuki, it was 20 years ago. And yes, it was a European Shakuhachi meeting, and I was late. I was driving a car, and I was late, and I arrived, and I heard this, ooh, and I thought, what's that? And then I went into the piece. They were making robuki, and I saw it was, I think, Kakizaka and Fuluya and Matama.
Godzilla,
Oh, that's possible. Shakuhachi. So I try to do that. So I blow a lot on my instrument to have a strong sound like this. And it doesn't work at all. And then my teacher said me something, you should practice piano. And what happens if you practice piano? You blow less. You reduce this. If you reduce this, you reduce this. And Rho is a low note, so you can find the good frequency, you get the good airspeed. And here it's interesting because there is this resonance effect. Once you have found the resonance effect, you can, by changing other things inside the mouth, we will see later, you can develop the sound and the harmonics of your sound. But basically, a low Rho has low airspeed because it's a low note. So first thing, maybe if you have problems, especially on Robuki, is to make slower airspeed. And try to find, you have the sensation of the instrument vibrating in the fingers. So it's not a strong note, but it's a rich note. And then you can change inside the mouth the voyelles, which we will see later, to have a more larger sound.
So if you don't feel that vibration, you're off resonance? You're not hitting the resonance?
Sorry.
You said that when you're on resonance, you can actually feel the flute vibrating.
Yes.
So if you don't feel that, you're not on resonance.
Yes, I
So
think
you
on
just-
the row you can the sensation of the resonance of the instrument. Of course, on higher notes, the frequency is too high to feel. Yes,
But it's still.
but on the row it works because it's a low note, so you can feel the vibration. Okay. So let's try this thing of harmonics. I think it's a good way when I practice my instrument, when I warm up. Very often I do that. I first begin with the row and then I make harmonics. And I make harmonics first by moving this and then by moving this. So firstly we can do only with airflow. So airflow is your hara, okay? So you just think you blow more and more. You just add air. Yes. Don't try to make a nice sound. It's not nice. You have listened what I played. That's normal, but it's just to understand what happens in your body, and that's very important. So. So it will be low register, pianissimo, and in high register, fortissimo. That's normal. So please try. Try not to use at all the airflow. We don't change. Always same airflow, but we just try to close the lips. And same thing, just observe what happens in your instrument. I show you. remember the sine meters per second. So sine meters is volume of air. So we need very few air volume to play piano. But we need to keep airspeed because we remember there is one airspeed per note. Because the one airspeed per length of the instrument. Okay, so that's the way to play piano, especially in high register. If you have problems with that, think about that. And if I don't know if you were careful to the sensation inside your lips when you did that, but normally you should be able to do that without any tense in your lips. I mean, to reduce my hole, I don't need to do that. I can have a very small hole while relaxing. You can see.
Does it depend on your anatomy, how your lips are shaped?
Yes.
Depending on how your lips are shaped, is it harder or easier for people?
Yes, of course. Everybody has his own lips and thickness of lips, etc. So, but the idea is anybody should be able to make small hole without any tension. Just imagine you have a rice, rice thing here, and you just push it, and it makes a small hole without any tension. And when you play your harmonics, because I have a very low airflow, I don't need to make any tension in my lips. Okay?
So some of the other variables, if you're doing everything that you say and it still doesn't work, the other variables are like, one sensei said that if your upper lip or lower lip are not lying properly.
This is air direction, just after.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
But so the idea, as you can understand, is that there is a relationship between pitch and airspeed. For me, each pitch has its own airspeed. Whether you play forte, mezzo forte, mezzo piano, pianissimo, the airspeed is always the same. What change if you change dynamic is the airflow. Less airflow, but you have to make a compensation with the diameter of your hole. Okay, so you keep the airspeed. And then we will speak about tone color. And tone color for me is a question of air direction and air shape. So for a given airspeed, the color of the sound depends mainly on the shape of the instrument, bore, the shape of the fingering holes, etc. So what makes the acoustic of an instrument. There are many parameters and very difficult to explain scientifically. Even if you discuss with makers, they know what to do, but very often they don't know why they do that. I read some articles about recorder makers, and they explain how they work on the labium, etc. They know that it works, and objectively it works, but they don't know why. And when I discussed with my student who is flute maker, recently I went to his atelier in Orleans, and he wanted me to test some flute embouchures, and it was very funny because I tested with different airspeeds, different airflow, etc., changing parameters so he can understand how flutists are blowing in the instrument. And when there was not enough low register notes, for example, we just made something it's like, and he said, it should be better now, and it was really better. And I said, why? I don't know. And it's a very high quality, he made very high quality gold and silver flutes for professionals. So it's very funny. So first thing is the shape of the instrument. Second thing is the point of arrival of your airstream in the instrument. If you blow here, or here, or here, here, it's not the same, and it changes a lot. With 1 millimeter, it changes a lot. And then the shape of your airstream. If you have an airstream like this, like this, like this, or how to say? Yes, it's also difficult to understand because it's something about you know air. Viscosity.
Viscosity.
Yes, yes, viscosity of the fluids. So depending of the viscosity, the air blade will be first straight, and then begin to do that. That's why when you play Kali, your sound is more airy than when you play Meli, because Meli you are there is less distance between lips and labium, and so the airflow is more precise. And when you play Kali, you are far away. So before, just so you understand the principle of air shape, air direction for the tone color. Here I changed the tone color. I tried not to change the pitch, but it didn't work. So there is no good sound or not bad sound. It depends what you want to do. The repertoire you play, if you play romantic music like Harunomi, if you play Koten Honkyoku, of course you change this a lot, especially in Shakuhachi music. I lost what I wanted to say. Yes. Before thinking about changing your body, please think about calibration of your instrument. I mean, where you put your instrument. We said that we put the instrument without moving the body. But then, maybe you don't put the instrument at the right place. Or maybe you have tendency while playing. For example, I know that when I play a very long sankyoku, like 30 minutes sankyoku, at one point I have tension, of course, like anybody. And my tendency is to do that. So I know that, so when I listen that my sound disappears, do that. And I don't change anything in the way I blow in the instrument. I just change the instrument itself. So it can be this, can be this, can be this. And very often, I see on my students, it's this vertical translation of the instrument. Very often they put this here in the angle here. Make this kind of sound. And so I make a translation of the instrument to put this part lower on the thing. And when you do that, so depends of morphology, of course, it's not for everybody, but that's just an idea of calibrating your instrument position. When I do that, for me, I push here on the lower lip, and the lower lip go inside the instrument. That's the idea, you know? If my lower lip goes inside here, it's very near the labium, so the sound becomes more precise, but without the inconvenience of making a melody. So you can see I'm quite near the labium, but not making, because this doesn't work. And the advantage to be near the labium is that Melly and Kali, you don't need to move a lot. I will show later different techniques to make Melly Kali, but you can keep a good, nice tone color without moving a lot with this technique. So
When you say labrum, do you mean the Uchi edge?
yes, labium is this.
The edge.
If you read scientific articles about acoustical instruments, this is called labium. It's the edge where you blow. Okay. Yes. So before, if you begin with the bad position of the instrument on your body and try to make something to have good tone color, maybe you can be a bit better, but not very good. Like I said in the beginning, it's like trying with a handicap. So, not moving the body, find a good position here. You have to test. Just try and find what works the best for you. And once you have found that, you can think about air duration. So we suppose that you didn't move, the position of your instrument is good, and then you try to blow up or down. At one point, it should sound quite good. You can try. So you just try to change the air direction. Interesting because you can see your air direction but also your air speed. And with this I can practice my flute at 11 or midnight without disturbing the neighbors. And it's quite efficient. It doesn't exist for Shakuhachi. I asked one of my students to make one, but for now it doesn't exist. So this is what we are trying to change now. So just imagine you are blowing up and down like this. And you can see that it's also changed a bit the pitch. Why? It's because it's slightly cover or discover the hole here. So it's not because of air direction that the pitch change. It's not air direction itself. It's because you are making two things at the same time. There is absolutely no reason that the air direction change the pitch. but what you do technically change the pitch. Because I cover the harp, of course. Yes.
Sorry. Can you make a comment on jaw on your some sense that some sensei say slackness of you have to be careful with your jaw. If your jaw is not if your jaw doesn't is too tight, it can interfere with the angle. You know, if you have to make your jaw like kind of loose.
Can you show me? Because
Right. So when you place a shaku up against underneath your lip, if your jaw is out too much, it can cause interference. So kind of like you have to kind of relax your jaw a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like
this movement, air direction with this movement.
Yes. So that affects your air direction. So like any comments on?
Yes. Anyway, this movement. Okay. And the last thing, once you have found the right posture, the right place to pursue shakuhachi, the right air direction, you can change the air shape. And for A shape, this is what takes years. But you just have to test. You can change voyelles inside the moves, for example. If you change voyelles inside the moves, you will change your lips posture and the size of the hole. So I change the voyelle inside my mouth.
What is that?
Voyelle,
Vowel.
voyelle, ah, and if I change that, it changes here. It's not the voyelle itself that changes the sound because we are not singers.
Right.
The singers, their body resonates really. For us, the sound is made outside of the body. So there is absolutely scientifically no reason that the voyelle itself changes the resonance. But when you change the voyelle, you change the shape of your mouth. So you change the sound, of course. So think about that, and you can try. O, E, this directly affects the color of the sound because it's a technique of muraiki that you know. You change the position of the tongue, and of course it affects a lot the sound. One other way to find good resonated sound is to think that you have a hole here, you know? When you put your shakuhachi, the shakuhachi is here, and if you think you are blowing through a hole inside your down lip, it can work. What I want to say is that using images, good images at this point is important. And there are many very good teachers here that have very good image to help you for that. For me, the image of a hole here works quite well. You can try it if you want.
Maybe it's related to what it is, but if you don't mind, Christopher, I heard you do it. It's whistling at the end of a note. I tend to have my notes whistle when my airs. Maybe some other people do it. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
This
harmonics.
Yes.
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 Yeah, you get
Yes.
harmonics.
Yes.
you usually this is because you have not enough airspeed and the labium is too far away from the lips. In contemporary music, we use this technique, it's called whistle tones,
Yes.
and to obtain them, we make cari and very low airspeed, like warm air. So if you want to avoid this, you should be closer to the labium and with more airspeed.
But what about pitch? Pitch goes flat if you're closer. Yes?
Yes, but you can, if you add more airspeed, it will go up. I go back to the right pitch with airspeed. Okay. Last thing, because we have only 2 minutes, but I wanted to tell you something. Yes, very important is the functioning of our brain. You have to know that our brain is unable to carry more than 2 tasks at the same time. So of course, when you play, you are making 100 or 200 things at the same time. But if you are making 100 things at the same time, that means that 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 tasks are made voluntary, and 98 other tasks are made automatically. And that's very important to know in the way you practice. You always have to set reasonable targets when you practice, and that means working on small extracts, of course, that all of you are doing, but that's the reason why we make short extracts. We need to do that. But another idea is when you are making a Shakuhachi technique, for example, if you want to, I don't know, you make a tsumeri and tsumeri is not in tune, so you try to make more meri. But meri is many things. You have a lot of ways to make meri. If I do, it is a meri, I didn't change angle. Another way, I brush the instrument on my lips, make meri. This one too. If you practice this separately, you will progress a lot. He has 4 ways of making meri.
Can you list them all?
Hmm?
Can you tell, what are the 4 ways?
First one, I relax the lips here. So it covers, all of these techniques cover the whole. That's the same idea. The second one, I push the instrument. So, same effect. The lower lip is going to the hole. Here I change the direction of the air, but while doing that, I cover with the upper lip, I cover the hole. And last one. Yes.
Yeah.
But when you do that, try to do only that. And then try to do 2 things. Oh, that's very efficient. Only 2 things. If you manage to do 4 things at the same time, you never have any problem playing in tune with meri notes. Even with ro meri, do dai meri, it will work. Other example, we all have this problem of re tsumeri, always too sharp. If you practice separately the meri and the fingering, you can try it. Only the meri, then only the fingering. Of course, it's not in tune. And then I do both. No problem. You can try this. So first only meri, have the right place for the first finger, and then do both. Yes, very good. So just keep in mind this idea of practicing things separately. If you don't manage to do something and you are repeating and you repeat and you lose time just by repeating without knowing why you are repeating. And just think about, okay, what's the problem? Is it the finger? Is it the melody? Oh, you don't know, you just try. Try first the melody, then try the finger, then do both. But just keep in mind that your brain cannot do more than 2 tasks at the same time. Okay? So we have to stop now.